Hey everybody. So I wanted to bring on to you today, I brought Lisa on for a chat the other day. Lisa Wynn, who I've been supporting to launch the Legacy Creation podcast. And I thought you'd like to maybe hear what it's like actually launching a podcast, what that process is like, and what happens when you get it right. Because the show went live Tuesday night, I believe. It went live in Apple.
Yeah.
And we're only on Friday lunchtime. So Lisa, welcome. And let's just let people know who've maybe not come across you before what your podcast is all about and why you decided you wanted to get it out there.
So my podcast is really aimed at female change makers, although I've had messages from men all over the world saying we're listening and we love it and we don't know, and you're a little bit sexist, so you should let us listen. So I said, that's fine, you're fine. I've been teased, lovingly, not. So it's really aimed at people who know that they want to make a bigger change in the world, who want to have a positive impact, but also want to do it in a way that honors their own best life, that means it's sustainable, and that inspires other change makers to come and have a go. That isn't that, and I just want to change the whole face of change making, for change making to be new.
So we hadn't met before. We weren't massively in each other's circles, although we do know people in common. And you were at a point where, because of lockdown, because of COVID-19, it completely changed your work. Just give us a very quick overview of what that meant for you.
Yeah, so having had an entirely face-to-face business where I was traveling 30 plus weeks of the year to long haul destinations, having a lovely time and doing amazing work, suddenly nothing. So to actually, and I'd been meaning to do this, to step back, to create more of an online presence, to get my message more widely, so I make a bigger difference to people who don't know me yet. So that's what last year was all about. And then this process has just been an incredible bringing of all that together.
So just within, it's 3 days. It's been 3 days. I was just doing the maths. It's almost Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Okay, so it will be 3 days tonight. So we're at 2.5 days. Let's talk about what you feel you've achieved in the past 3 days. 2.5 days.
So in 2.5 days, I think there's different levels of it. So if you look at the numbers, we are top 10 podcast in 3 countries on 3 separate continents, and top 20 in five different top 20s. I believe we've been listened to in 19 countries. People who I haven't spoken to for a long time, I'm now back in contact. So it's been incredible at lighting up my network. And I would say at an emotional level, I have never been clearer that people want to hear my message with my voice. And there's layers of results.
So, as we said, like it's lovely to get those chart positions, but tell us about the people who've reached out to you to say, this is what I'm hearing and this is what it made me feel.
So I've had messages from New York, people saying, oh my God, I'm listening to you in my spinning session, and all over the world. So for a lot of people, one of the big messages was in podcast 2, where I talked about the shadow aspect of change making, and people have been completely blown apart by that message and really looked at themselves as change makers, looked at the whole paradigm of how we make change. People have been messaging me saying, I feel like I can change the world now. I really didn't believe in myself in that way, which is just, I know we've had 5, the 5th episode has gone out this morning and not many people have had a chance to listen to that yet. I've had sales teams of men sharing it, saying, my God, look at this is going to make us really more successful. And women saying it's empowered me. It's mind-blowing the different impacts it's having.
And that, for me, I mean, my book's called Podcast with Impact. I've actually got a copy here, so I'll just do a little thing. For me, It's that ripple effect. It's that ripple effect. If you don't know who you've touched to make that difference, but you already are getting that feedback that it's done that, and we're only 2.5 days in. And obviously in a launch, there's a concerted effort to get the message out there quickly and fast and far. And we've achieved that with your show. What can you already see this is going to do for your business? What can you already see coming?
Well, enough people have gone and bought. I've got a new program that I'm about to launch. It's in pre-launch. Enough people have bought it this week without a single sales call that I've paid for my investment in your services. So if I can sell something I don't really particularly intend to sell yet without sales calls, whilst I'm busy doing something else, that's going to be huge. And all my programs are about change making. So it's not just the income, it's the reach. My Instagram account is growing. My free Facebook community is growing. And these people coming to me not to try and sell me something, but because they've heard my message and they've resonated with it and said, I need more. So it's numbers, but it's also quality of those contacts.
Yeah. And it's what it means to you personally to know that that's happening. So there's something interesting you said there that you did actually want to make sure we highlighted in this interview today. Talk us through your social media presence and how that has been until now.
So on my social media, I have about 650 people on Instagram, and I'm not big on posting regularly. I post irregularly. I've got much better at it now. That's one of the benefits. I did have less than 200 people in my free Facebook group. And I've never really used my LinkedIn account. I have lots of people who've added themselves to it, but I've only ever just accepted. And my book was only ever published in China. So I have a big presence in China, social media wise, but of course, this isn't accessible there, or people have been using their VPN to listen actually. So it's just blown my mind that you don't need an audience so much as a community. What I have is this incredible community of people. So I have done this all by reaching out to people and asking for their support.
Yeah, something really powerful there. So people often say to me, oh, I don't know if I should launch my podcast yet because I don't have thousands of followers. I don't know if I'm big enough yet. And actually, you don't need to have that. You need to know that you've got enough people in your corner that will support you on the day that you launch. I think there's something powerful there. And what's happening now, because Lisa's show is appearing in the top charts for business and entrepreneurship around the world. In fact, I realized that you're in the top charts in 10 different categories in 10 different countries.
Wow.
Never mind the fact you're being listened to in 19 countries. What happens is that Apple, Spotify are now showing your content to people. You're coming up in the categories, and people often tune in to the new shows on the scene that look like they speak their language. And that's really powerful, because now it's not just your connections in your community that are listening. It will be people you've never met, who've never heard of you. And we've done that in 2.5 days. And, you know, that's incredible.
It's so amazing. And, you know, also I can see how this is just the spark, because I've got people reaching out to me to go and speak on their podcasts. I was sort of assuming that people would want, you know, be reaching out to come and talk on mine, but they're reaching out to ask me to go and talk on theirs. I've had one message from a TV producer that I've known for a long time. But she messaged me saying, I didn't even know this about you. I didn't know you could present, didn't know you could speak that way. Yeah, I can see how it's fun to get the charts and it's fun to get the chart positions, but the growth is going to be exponential. I can feel it already. It's so exciting.
And let's not skip over the fact it's been quite a buzz this week. I think that's taken you by surprise, hasn't it? So to talk through like the roller coaster that has been since the show went live. It went live in Spotify Monday, and then it went live Tuesday night, didn't it? So in Apple. So talk about what this week's journey's been like.
Well, journey's a better word than roller coaster, because roller coaster sort of implies going downhill sometimes. And it's been like exponentially more joyful the whole week, really.
Okay.
Because I would say that I felt well prepared, but I don't think anything prepares you quite, well enough. There were things that if I could have this week back again, I'd do differently. But that's I would have followed more of what you told me to do. I didn't. It's not like I'm thinking, why didn't Anna say that? It's like, oh, Anna told me that would happen. So follow the guru, I say. It's just been sheer joy. There have been times where I felt overwhelmed with the emotion, with the feedback, with the things people have said to me, with the support. And I think this is another big shift. This is such an important thing that holds people back, that I have really got this week and will never lose again, I don't think, is that when you've got a message that is that strong, that you're that passionate about, it's not self-promotion, it's message promotion. And just reaching out to people and saying, I'm so damn passionate about this. And people know that. They followed me. They know that this is completely aligned.
Yeah.
And they want to help. People are overjoyed at any opportunity. I'm getting messages on Voxer, Messenger, all sorts of media say, how can we help? How are you doing? What else do you need, mate?
And that's pretty special. And I think that's what lots of people say when we launch their podcast, is that it suddenly makes, I knew my work was valuable, but it suddenly makes it recognized and validated by many of the people around me, many of the people who I've had in my world for a really long time. So what's your, I mean, obviously, we've only got 5 episodes out so far, and this is going to continue. What would your message be then for someone who is where you were 6 months ago?
I mean, the key thing is do it. But honestly, Anna, I would say to them, do it with you. I would never have got around to this. And if I had got around to it, I wouldn't have done it anywhere near as powerfully. And the support, I thought I just needed the tech from you. But I've got the tech, the strategy, I've got greater clarity about my vision. And the emotional support when I've messaged you and said, the roller coaster was before the launch, really, wasn't it?
Because there's a fear about putting it out there. There is. You think, oh my goodness, suddenly it's all out there. And what if people hate it? And what if I've not got it right? There is a fear. What if mine is the only podcast that flops, that because you don't know. We don't know.
No, but I feel like if honest to God, sounding slushy, but I feel like if people do it with you, then they do know it will go well. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And Lisa, we obviously have got Lisa's link above this show. I'm actually going to put notes as well here. Actually, I'll do it after we finish. We're going to make sure that wherever you're watching this, the links are there. Go and support Lisa's show. Go and find out what you can do with just 5 episodes to build your business, build your visibility, amplify your message. And I think what Lisa's saying here, and her work is all about creating that legacy, not necessarily after you die, right now. How do you live your legacy? And that's very strongly aligned with what I'm talking about. You amplify that message, you make an impact, not in 20 years' time, you make it now. And to get that immediate feedback is really powerful. So go check out Lisa's podcast. We would love you, if you're listening on Apple, to subscribe, rate, review, which you do by scrolling down to the bottom of the page. But most importantly, play through each of her episodes. It really helps us in the ratings and rankings and to reach more ears. And if you're listening on Android, do exactly the same thing. You can follow, play through the episodes, but you can't actually leave a review at the moment. So thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey. And if you watch Lisa and I over the next few days, we'll be sharing how much more success this show is going to have. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks for joining me, Lisa.
Thank you. My pleasure.